love is to be above all, and we are to be of love in all that we do if we are to ever find peace. Love is the answer to every problem you have ever had, are having, or are going to have in the future. And I know that that might sound cliche and that might sound a little odd to me. Like, how is love the answer to everything? It's the answer to everything. If you have depression or anxiety or stress or anger problems or whatever it may be, when you get to that place and you're angry, and I know that from experience, I lived a lot of years in anger, it's pretty hard when you're there to think like this. So how do we get there, right? It's all easier said than done, because if I go back to the days when I was at my worst and in a fit of rage, if you would have told me to start thinking what love thinks and what would love say and how would love act, I would say I don't care. I'm so angry. I get that. So it's a journey. And on this journey, I have changed everything about my life. And I literally mean everything. I mean the things I eat, the way I think, the way I talk, what I watch, what I listen to, what I consume, everything. Okay? Now that doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It's a gradual process. So I'll give you a short little story about coffee. A lot of people drink coffee, so I'm sure you'll be able to relate to this. I used to drink my coffee with cream and sugar. And not a ton of it, but a good amount, you know. A cup, like 2 spoons of sugar and you know, a nice decent pour of cream. So I wanted to stop drinking so much cream and sugar in my coffee. So I slowly removed a little bit at a time. I put a little less cream and a little less sugar and a little less cream. Then I said, well, let me switch to milk, because it's kind of like watered down cream, right? So it's a little helpful. Whatever. I'm not a nutritionist. So I put less milk, less sugar, less milk, less sugar, then no milk and less sugar. Then I get to the point where I would just dip the spoon in the coffee and get some sugar on it. And then I would do half of it, all the way down to nothing, to the point now, it's been years. I've been drinking black coffee for years. And I'm just sharing that story just to give an example of how we get to this place of love. Through slowly removing some bad things and slowly introducing some good things. See, this is a faster way. If you just remove the bad and change nothing and introduce no good, it's not quite going to yield you a great result or a fast result. If you want to expedite the result, I assure you, do not try to do all this at once, because typically when anyone tries to make drastic changes, that leads to drastic failure. So we don't want failure here. We want success, okay? And we want to come from a place of love. We want to do this lovingly, and love would say, it's okay, just keep going in the right direction. You're getting there, you're doing all right, a little bit more good stuff. Oh, you could maybe take that bad thing away. Why don't you watch one less corruption show on Netflix about crime and cops and all this stuff? Why don't you not watch that tonight and read a book instead tonight? Or why don't you only watch it for half an hour and read a book for half an hour, read the Bible? You know, how about meditate for 5 minutes this morning before you turn your phone on? Or all these little things, little by little by little by little. This is the direction you want to head in. This is the direction I headed in. This is how I took my steps, roughly. I don't think it's possible to recap every single solitary step I took. I started praying in the morning and reading the Bible in the morning, before, you know, and I ended up coming across a video that pointed out just how distracting the phone is. So I said, you know what? I'm not even going to look at my phone in the morning until I pray and read and meditate a little bit. And then I did it more and more to the point where now then I started doing it at night. And a little less TV, a couple less nights a week, I'd read and pray. Now I don't watch TV. I don't watch anything at night. I pray and read every night. I pray and read every morning. It takes time. It takes time. Don't try to do it all at once. Love would not have you do it all at once. Love is kind and patient. Do it lovingly. See, if you get into a loving mentality along the way, you'll already almost be there before you even arrive. You gotta slow things down a little bit and take some time for yourself. Love would say, work hard, but not so hard as to not have time for your spirituality, not have time to meditate and pray and read, not have time to eat healthy, not have time to exercise. Love would never have you working so hard that you don't have time for these things. Love wants you to take care of yourself. Love would say, work hard to provide for yourself and your family, but not so much, not so hard that you end up losing yourself and your family in the process. As many people have done in today's society, they've lost their family. They're divorced because they worked too much. That is sad. That's a sad thing. And love would never tell you to do that. Love would say, oh, you worked enough. Get home with them kids. See your wife. You know? And in and of this, when we're talking about marriage, so many people are like, oh, my wife's miserable. My wife, they complain and complain. Why don't you start being more loving to her and see how much more loving she'll be to you? And now these results might not happen overnight, but if you persistently be more loving to her, I guarantee you she'll be more loving to you. Continue to be more loving in everything you do. We talked about this in the last video, the energy. Basically karma. You get back what you give out. The Bible says it. You reap what you sow. This is not a suggestion. This is real life in real time. Your current situation, your current circumstance, you have created by all your thoughts, all the things you say, all the things you feel, and all the things you believe. Your dominant state, the state that you stay in the most, is what the universe is going to give back to you. So just imagine if you started to think lovingly, speak lovingly, feel loving, and believe in love and loving things. This is what will be returned to you. Then, and only then, will you find true peace. Remember, love is to be above all, and we are to be of love in all that we do if we are to ever find peace. Enjoy your day. Love you guys.